Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another pre-market broadcast presented to you by Investors Underground, where a few of the mods from the room go through their watch lists for the day. I hope everyone is well. Wherever you're watching this, X, YouTube, wherever, hit that like button, subscribe button. It means that enables us to do more free content just like this. And for those wondering, this is the exact same process that we go through every single day in the room at 8:45. So if you want to come trade with us, then come check us out at investorsunderground.com. And just a quick disclaimer before we get started, this video is for information and education purposes only. These are not buy or sell recommendations. All right, cool. Let's get stuck in. Let's go straight over to the boss. Nate, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Sam. All right, guys. So obviously yesterday was nuts. I mean, the past couple of weeks has been COVID style opportunities. And the biggest part about COVID was that there's liquidity both sides. You could trade a lot, larger. And the problem is that when a thin name is trading 100, 200, 300 million, shares, it might feel thick. But then all of a sudden it's got one of those swipe candles. You end up on the wrong side. It doubles quickly. And you get something like NXTT and, things like that, where people are comfortable trading 30, 50 or 100,000 shares short. But all of a sudden it's, $1 or it's $2 or $3. And they weren't expecting that. They're trading their size based off of, 50, 60, 80 cents. And all of a sudden we're dealing with, multi-dollar moves. So that was really a nice opportunity. Both ways, obviously, it's always a work in progress for me on the long side, but beautiful yesterday at XTT. But that, just put a lot of a breath of fresh air in all these other small caps where people are just chasing first and, obviously asking questions later. We had KDLY, which was absolute insane, $32 or whatever it was. You had a little taste of that this morning, and the taste was on ALZN. And so what I was telling the room was that the closest that these things start to look like a prior day, the more people are going to be chasing things. You just got to wait for that exhaustion kind of move to come in. Already had a nice trade here, but same deal with something like, what was the A1 this morning that popped? I'm drawing a blank. ALZN, was it? No. I'm gonna think of which one it was, but just like DE, wow, I am drawing a blank. Devs, there we go, got it. Just like Devs yesterday, everybody looks at it and they think, okay, this looks a lot like NXTT, right? It's doing all the things. But what you want to do, and the idea or the trade that I took after hours was 4:10, 4:15 p.m. You want to be watching it, because most people think, okay, this is the next NXTT. And in the event that it stops going up or it's not the chosen one, once everybody knows that, you're going to start getting those downticks. So that's exactly what we did. Everybody held it into after hours. They wanted to see if it was going to turn into anything. Once it tried and it failed, that's when everybody kind of gave up. So it gave a fantastic opportunity. It's just about knowing what the market wants right now and understanding how many people got in ALZN, chase. There's no opportunity for shorts to really get bent this morning versus something like KDLY, where, it's the first we've seen at that price range, and, $5 pop, people start in, goes another couple bucks, they add some more, and all of a sudden we're $10, $15, and, obviously those people are getting blown out. So whatever you can do to relate to a prior move and kind of see where it starts to detach from how the prior trade moved, that's going to be where your edge is. If it doesn't dip and rip right back up, but it dips, comes back and stuffs, that's a variation. That's a change. And that's exactly what happened with ALZN this morning. So anyway, CNSP, I'm sure lots of fundamental folks will be fading this thing today. So that very well could continue to fade throughout the day. Not something I'd like to anticipate, especially with thinner floats, just in case anything is different. They might raise, they might have a good price, might be strong, et cetera, et cetera. So definitely not anything that I want to anticipate, but I would trade it as normal, clear outs, failed follow through. And right now, especially in this market, sideways is not necessarily bearish, where, normally it used to kind of churn through covers and then break down. Lately, it's churning through, sellers, and then it swipes back up. So for me, anytime we start to go sideways, just even like this, if I'm participating, if I'm trading in this name, I'm covering at least half, if not, 3/4, just because you should anticipate that it's going to swipe. And if it doesn't, you can always re-add, but it's better to not be on that wrong side and have to kind of putt from the rough on it. GRYP thoughts here. I feel like yesterday I had a lot of 400K bids, 200K offers, and just sort of watching the tape gives me the vibe that they're kind of working out all the 60 to dollar type trade. Everybody that was in cheap, churn it, and not like an ASST or anything like that. But I do feel like we could potentially have a day 3, day 4 squeeze, maybe even later today. So I'm watching flushes versus that 135, 140 level. If it were to stay heavy there, I'm not so interested. But I do feel like they had to, kind of let the gap sellers out, rotate everybody out, let shorts kind of win. And then it closed weak, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is holding a little bit better than I expected, especially the swing shorts. And then it starts to kind of perpetually squeeze. So that's what I think we have here. I think price matters. I wouldn't be chasing it. I do have a position on it. I'm hopeful for more flushes. Most people would say, why do you want it to go lower if you're long? Because I don't have a full position yet. And again, I'd rather it flush and trap and flush and trap. And just like Chris and I's video that we went over, you want to invite more shorts in. And if overall it continues to get soaked, then that really kind of verifies my thesis in my eyes. Otherwise, we've got WLGS, IH, ND, higher the better clearouts, Lobo, higher the better clearouts versus something like the VWAP level. And then same deal with KDLY. Those are sort of the secondary small caps. My main watches, CNSP, ALZN, which is probably, I'm pretty much done with it, I would assume. GRYP potential on the long side. And then this pony, I'm definitely watching it. I have a little bit on the short side now. Uber could help that. The original thing that set this off was the Uber partnership. And sometimes it doesn't necessarily need to make sense. It doesn't mean that they're connected at the hip, but a spill on Uber could put some pressure on this thing, since that's what kind of originally sent this thing up. So I'd be watching pops versus that 1950, 1940 level. The higher the better, clear out into that range. And then as long as VWAP stays relatively heavy, very interested in some sort of unwind. Then I always like to look RGTI, QPTS, Mara, and just kind of see where we're at in the moves. But that's pretty much about it. 3 main watches, and then I'm just sort of waiting. Yesterday was actually my best trading day of the year. So I'm really, I already started ALZN, CNSP this morning. We're decent trades. So I'm really, put the brakes on, because it's so easy just to dive right back in and, end up, chopping yourself up just because yesterday was good. So every day is a fresh day. And hopefully we've got some good action, and hopefully can get off desk again like I've been working on. Back to you, Sam.
Yeah, all right. I'm going to take it over here. So, morning, everyone. I'm watching this morning Hood. I'm looking at this one from a short perspective. Yesterday had a gap and fade day. This morning it's gapping up, and I kind of like that, but still. I'm short bias on it, so I'm going to watch any push towards 59. I would really like to see some sort of stuff there for a short, and I'm going to keep the risk at yesterday pre-market highs, more or less. So if it's just going to grind and push through that area, I'm going to not necessarily going to go long on this trade, but definitely not going to fight to it. So trying to be reactive at these moves in pre-market, into the open, and then looking to cover dips, and then if it's going to stay heavy, work it out from there. And again, if it's going to just grind and push through yesterday highs, definitely be on toes and not looking to fight with. Coin, these guys are joining S&P, so usually we have a tendency to have some follow through on this type of names that join it. So any weak open or dips versus 223-ish level, yeah, if it's going to go lower to 20, even better. So either way, going to watch any, not necessarily washout, but after the open, if it's going to lose momentum, we shall see how the overall market is going to behave. But either way, I would like to see at least this level being tested again, and then some sort of a build up there in order to take in consideration a long trade here. Other than that, not looking to take any trades here. HIMS, same thing here. This one been on run for a few days. Yesterday been gapping up and then show some weakness. Now this morning it's having this slightly gap up. Still, I'm looking for a reactive short trades here. Short trade here, but I would like to see it pushing towards 57, 57.50 in order to take this trade, and I'm going to risk yesterday highs. So fast push there, and then see if it's going to stop or the tape is going to flip for a short trade, and looking to cover dips, and then again work it out from there. And if it's going to stay heavy, yeah, I'm going to add it back in pops, but after that I'm just going to cut it off. OKLO, another name I'm watching. This one, it's for long. I like the fact that yesterday had this breakout, but as you can see, kind of failed. Still, if we'll manage this morning to build up above 28 and then push through 29, I'm going to be interested in a long trade, and I'm going to risk 28 more or less. So breakout here, and then we shall see if there is going to be some follow through. SOUN, same thing here. I like the fact that this one broke out yesterday. Now, and the volume, it's quite telling. So if today it's going to reclaim VWAP-ish yesterday area from yesterday, so 1050-ish more or less, I'm going to be interested to buy dips on this name. For a long trade, and maybe if it's going to close strong, I'm going to hold it over. Now moving to small caps, Lobo, which is a China name, already gave up in pre-market quite a lot. I'm going to be interested, but if just going to push 250-ish and then looking for a fail there, ideally earlier in the morning, and then we shall see if it's going to stay heavy. We had some trades in the past few days that had big unwinds in pre-market, and then kind of reclaim previous levels. So I'm having that idea in mind, and the plan to see these levels reclaim somehow, and then see if they are going to stop there. Not in a hurry with this trade. I'm going to wait for a bit and see how it's going to unfold in order to take the trade. ASST, another name I'm watching. This one looks like, despite the fact that it's going to sideways, to me looks like it's sort of losing momentum. We shall see if this is going to be the case here. I'm going to watch any pops and stuff for getting involved, not looking to short the front side, and definitely I wouldn't like to see it reclaiming 7-8-ish area, which was yesterday high. So in order to keep my short 30s, I would really like to see some pops and stuff, to join. And then if later in the morning it's going to have that, losing momentum type of action, I'm going to add on a breakdown for a short. And yeah, pretty much that's it for me today, guys. Good luck, and I'm passing it over to Jura.
Good morning. So just start off here with some catalysts out. Emil touched up on coin, same kind of idea. We're gapping over that 225 level, which is key on the daily, and the 200. It's also been pre-market key, and now we're breaking up through the 230. So I mean, it is a decent move already. But I mean, we've seen how it acted last time, it gapped up even further. This was when Trump was, inaugurated in November. So, coming out of this bottom base here, it was lagging behind MSTR and Hood. But, if we could get going now, then maybe it would be worth keeping an eye out to join trend. LOAR, a little thinner now. It's also moved 50%, so I wouldn't mind some sort of delayed reaction move on it. But earnings was out this morning. They beat on both earnings and sales and raised their forward year and sale guidance. And it's just been moving very nicely. Aerospace and defense sector. So if there's anything there, I'll keep an eye out for that. ACHR, no earnings or sales, but I mean, partnership with Palantir, which I believe isn't even new, and they do have $1 billion in cash, and I mean, it's holding up, trending a little bit in pre-market. So, I mean, we've seen what other names could do. QBTS with earnings back here and here, 50% move. So, we're in this base holding well since that November move. If we could sort of trend off open, then I'd potentially be interested. And then LOBO on the opposite sides of Nate and Emil, the 150s was the pre-market low, and the 180s is the daily key. So if it does continue to hold or flush 150 and reclaim 180s off of open, then I think it's worth watching. This, whether it matters or not, this is their forward year revenues. They raised it, and it's just one of those small caps that have potential. So I'll keep an eye out there. And then Palantir earnings came out. This kind of reminds me of OKLO back here when we had that gap down, some inside day, and then it just curls and grinds back up. So over the 120, 121 area, I'd be interested for a continuation. I mean, it's the leader at the moment. So that's that. And then TEM earnings were out this day here. It looked like it was going to roll over, but it quickly reclaimed prior day's highs and pushed very nicely. And now we're getting a little bit of a potential setup there. So if we could trend off open and break through prior day highs or that 66s, then I would be interested in joining that. And then ASST, pretty much reminding me, of the DF. Well, it's not going to come up, but it was the Janiver or, SERV back here where we get like the inside days decreasing volume, and then we get another leg up. Same with, CEP, inside days decreasing volume, and even drug. I mean, there's a bunch of examples I could show, but that's, what's happening now. We have this couple-day move, couple-day pullback, and just consolidation, decreasing volume. So if we start to push over 770s, then I think we could really see another sort of leg up there. But that's what I got for today. I'll pass it back over to Sam.
Brilliant. Thank you, Judah. Thank you, gents. Insightful as always. And as I said at the beginning, if you enjoyed and you want to trade with us every single day, we do this every single day at 8:45. So please reach out. My details are on the screen now. You can email me or DM me on Twitter. All right, cool. Have a great day, everyone. Trade them well. And see